Hey, I'm Coach Rob Beckmann, and I got next.
You next up and you ain't been on SportsLifeTalk. Like, what are you doing? Hey, you better hit him up. Look, you breaking next and you up next. Keep the queens go hard. Rise and star on the big scene. Make them know who you are. You don't break the sweat. Don't settle for less. They put you through that test. Your resume that flex. Who got next? Who got next? SLT, ready, say go. Who got next? Who got next? Living my dreams and all your goals. Who got next? Who got next? You can ask B. Jones or head coach. Who got next? Who got next? You next up, so here's my vote.
Yeah, SLT Nation, what it do? Welcome back to another fire episode of Sports Life Talks. You got next, a platform that gives exposure to the voices of tomorrow. That's right, we're talking to rising stars in our community who are doing big things and living out big dreams. And oh my goodness, y'all all know this college. We all saw this college featured on Netflix, but we're gonna talk about not that drama that took place on the football field. We're going to take this thing to the courts where they got a pedigree championship basketball program. And today we got associate head coach and recruiting coordinator Rob Beckmann in the building. Coach Rob, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we super excited to talk to you. I know when people see the Independence, they probably already talked to you about LastChanceU and all of that stuff. So we're gonna unpack what the life out there in Indy, Kansas, Independence, Kansas is like. But before we get started, allow me to introduce myself. I am your host, the mouth of the South, B. Jones, the Louisianimal, Mr. Yeet himself. I'm rocking with my brother from another mother, my partner in crime, the head coach, KT. Kev, how you doing today, man?
Oh man, I'm doing a lot better now. You know, the conversation we had, backstage.
Yeah.
Because it got graphic, but hey, I'm doing great, B. Jones. Thank you so much.
You want a Bell Grande, brother? Now listen.
No. Hey, those Mexican pizzas from Taco Bell, they go hard. But yeah, let's go.
Hey, well, check this out. All of our new listeners, all of our new people, first and foremost, want to thank y'all for coming and checking out the channel. The boys work hard. We get up, we wake up to get our cake up, and we know that we couldn't do it without you. You inspire us, you motivate us, and we want to ask a small favor for you. If this is your first time or if you've been rocking with us from day one, this is the part of the show where Kevin and I, we got to pay the bills. We got to keep this awesome momentum of 2022. Kevin, can you believe we almost over 2022? That's crazy. But we got to keep the awesome momentum of 2022 rolling and flowing and just keep climbing and grinding. So on the count of three, in Sports Life Talk tradition, we want you to do us two small little favors. The first one, smash that like button. It allows the show to get more repetition and it goes into the algorithm. YouTube will expose this show to some new listeners. And then the second thing is become a part of our family. Smash that subscribe button. Coach Rob, you locked in with us?
I'm locked in.
All right, man. Well, here we go. On the count of three, Independence. 1, 2, 3. Boom! Welcome to the Sports Life Talk family. Hey, we know it's a million other podcasts out there. We know that there's a lot of other content, so we appreciate you becoming part of our family because we don't do fans. We don't do followers. You are now part of the Sports Life Talk family. Coach Beckmann, your folks, they smashed the subscribe button. They part of the family, but you, sir, you got to cross the burning sands. You didn't know you were going to be hazed this morning, did you? You didn't know you was going to have to go through the Sports Life Talk initiation, did you?
I've been watching y'all's show, so I know it pretty well. I've seen a lot of episodes.
Oh, okay. So you just you like, hey, I finally get to see it live and in person in color, huh?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
No, we super excited to have you on it. But KT, heat him up, KT.
Yeah, I mean he's a fan, B. Jones. And
he too chill. He too cool about it, though, KT. Work on him a little bit.
Okay, I'll try, B. Jones. I don't think I can do it, but I will try. All right. Initiate you into the SLT family. You got to give us your top 5 music artists.
Okay. it's gonna be probably a little bit outside the box, but
no such a thing.
I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. So there's an artist I really love who I knew him back when he was famous in Memphis, and now he's really big nationally. But my first one I'll say is Juicy J from 3 6 Mafia.
3 6 Mafia.
6 Mafia.
Again, I knew 3 6 Mafia. I mean, I moved to Memphis when I was 5 years old. So growing up, 3 6 Mafia was like a big thing in Memphis, but I don't think they were that known outside of Memphis back. This is like in the 90s.
Oh, yes, they were, Coach. I can't let you get away with that. We were working with them here.
All right, okay.
Oh, yeah, we've been down with 3 6.
Yeah, but then as time went on, like Juicy J ended up winning an Oscar for that movie, House on Flow, like best song, and I just love his stuff.
Yeah, you know it's hard out here for him.
Yeah, we know about it.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that.
Okay, let's go ahead. Let's bring the show back.
Yeah. But yeah, he's as Memphis as it gets. Like his accent, his whole demeanor, he's funny. And I like his lyrics, and it's just upbeat too. Like it gets me pumped listening to his stuff. So these first four are no order, but I'll say him, and I'm gonna move around. I'm gonna do a rock group. It's kind of an obscure group called the Pixies. They were Kurt Cobain's one of his favorite bands.
Yeah,
they were kind of one of the big inspirations for the whole like grunge rock movement in like the early 90s. So big fan of them. My next one I'd say is Outkast. Just cause I could put their stuff on like Stankonia, Love Below, like just classic albums. And again, like I said, I like people who are like characters too. So like Andre 3000, just, very flamboyant, just like his own person. See, I'll go back to rock for one. The White Stripes, Jack White and Meg White.
Nah, I know them. I know the White Stripes. Okay, yeah, I was just about. That's the one song I know, Kevin.
Yeah, it's a Seven Nation Army. Yeah, there's an interesting story about that. Is like Jack White said that when he was warming up for shows, he would just mess around on the guitar, and he was like, "I'm gonna just play around and do like a James Bond theme." And he started playing that just off the top of his head. He's like, "This sounds kind of good." And he kept developing it, and it became that song "Seven Nation Army," which they play all the time. But yeah, his all their albums are really, really great. I can listen. They have like 6 of them or something like that. They're all great.
I've heard about it.
Yes.
Yeah, and then my
wait a minute, real quick.
My number one.
I hate to.
What's that?
Well, I want to ask a quick question. Is that the guy who they told him to like they put him in a band with his sister, but that was really his wife?
Again, so this is you're right about that.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I like characters. So Jack White, if I remember the story right, his real name is Jack Gillis. He married Meg White, and he took her last name, so he became Jack. I think he just liked the last name White, so he's like, "No, I'm just gonna take your last name." So then they were married. People thought they were brother and sister, though, and they just never bothered to tell anybody. They're like, "Oh yeah, sure, we're brother and sister." They're actually married. Eventually they got divorced, but they stayed close. And again, they just didn't really ever reveal the dynamic. Like people thought they were brother and sister.
Wow.
They married and divorced, but they just stayed cool with each other and put out a bunch of great albums. So yeah,
that's what caught my attention. I remember people was like, he's married to a sister. I was like, huh? They had
yeah, it was never actually his sister. That was just like a story.
Yeah.
I bet people didn't know when they came here they're gonna get a White Stripes history, did it? Yeah.
Hey, I know, right?
Only on 405 you got next.
Go hard.
Yeah. It's funny, when I was at my previous school, the one assistant I was with, he was talking about me. He's like, you know something about everything, like whether it be basketball or just random trivia. So, all right. And then my number one, I was hesitating to say this because it's the worst time to give this answer in light of recent events, but my number one is Kanye. And he's been saying some crazy stuff lately.
Yeah, he has. And the funny thing about that, Coach, is I had moved him into my top 5, and I took Drake out. But then after the recent events, Drake is back in. But we love old Kanye.
Well, that's the thing. This the thing. I'm gonna separate the man from the music. Kanye, talent wise, he's in my top 5, but I just can't. I can't put any. I can't press play on anything. I can't wear Yeezys right now. It's just he's just going over the top. So, but he is worthy of being in the top 5. His music is legendary.
Worthy, but ooh-wee.
Yeah.
All right.
I love his music, and I don't know. It's funny. I saw a quote. I forgot who said it, but they were like, "When you're a Kanye fan, you immediately become a PR representative for Kanye."
No doubt.
Like Kanye. They're like, "What do you think about this? Why do you say that for?"
You got to go around defending this man's horrible takes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, I don't agree with everything he says, obviously, but I do think it's a more interesting world with people like Kanye who are outside the box, and sometimes they say something they shouldn't say, or which is obviously wrong. But I think you do need artists in this world who push boundaries, and sometimes it's like, no, you shouldn't have said that. That's wrong. But I think that's better than having everybody be cookie cutters too. Like maybe you don't get that great art without that little bit of a craziness to that person, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but Kanye, he's my all-time number one. Very inspirational story. I just love his music. So
all right, so I'm probably going to skip the superhero one, but I'm going to go straight into this one. So with great powers come what? I'm not going to skip that, B. Jones. That is a part of the initiative. All right, so who is your favorite superhero and why?
I would say the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman, because that's what I grew up on. It's a little bit dark, a little bit off center, but yeah, that's, as a kid I watched Batman and Batman Returns like a million times. So yeah,
I like how he broke it down to the specific Batman. That is, Coach. Can I give him 5, KT?
Oh no, I was supposed to give him 5. Yeah, give him 6 for that one. Give him 6. All right. So since every good superhero needs their own theme music, Bruce Wayne, what would your theme song be?
I guess I'll go back to Kanye, St. Pablo. That's my favorite song. From The Life of Pablo. That's my favorite album of his. St. Pablo, I don't know. There's just some, I think, beautiful lyrics in that song that I relate to. Kind of like troll conventional thought. I always tried to do that. I guess it's like in basketball, trying to be innovative, think outside the box, go against the grain. What else does he say in that song? Skate on the paradigm, shift it when I feel like, you know. And just the overall theme of that song is just like trying to find your place in the world and like, you know, looking at the church in the night sky, like, is God watching out for me? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I on the right path? So that's my all-time favorite song. So I'm going to go with that one.
All right. So with great powers comes great responsibility. We know that's Spider-Man, but we're talking DC here. All right. You mentioned that you're a Batman fan and he's a part of the Justice League. So I want you to assemble your dream coaching staff. They could be dead or alive. And for your current staff, you cannot use any of them. We know that you love and rock with them. But for this question, you got to go outside the box.
Okay. I'm going to go with a couple people who, they're not on my current staff, but they're mentors of mine. Mark Adams, he's the head men's coach at Texas Tech. So just a quick, crazy story about that is when I was at my previous school, I was coaching a men's team at State College of Florida. I would say me and the head coach are both a little bit more offensive guys. And after our first year, we did well, but I was like, we can take it to the next level. I was like, I need to get better at defense. And that's right when Texas Tech, Mark Adams at the time, he was the head assistant, and he was killing it with defense. That's the year they went all the way to the national championship. They barely lost in overtime to Virginia. But I was watching what they were doing, and I loved what he was doing defensively. And supposedly, he's like very private and very secretive. But I reached out to him a bunch of times saying like, hey, can I talk to you? And he was basically like, I don't really talk to people on the phone. I don't really share my stuff. But finally, I was actually going to work at camp in the South. And I was like, what if I just drive to you? And he's like, I don't know. And anyway, I drove from Florida. That's where I was living at the time. I drove like 24 hours to Texas Tech and said, hey, would you meet with me? And I think he thought I was insane, but he was like, I'll talk to you for like 30, 40 minutes if you come in. So I was like, okay. So I think he said that just because he's like, is this guy just out of his mind or what? So I went in. Yeah, I went in and we had a really great conversation just talking X's and O's. And we ended up talking for hours. So,
Coach, hold on, Coach. Okay. Hold on, because KT lost internet. Dang, this story is gold, man. Oh my God. All right, just put a pin in it right there. Don't move. Okay. Don't lose your thought.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm not gonna say another word. Me and my family, we supposed to go watch this Black Adam right after we record. So I'm kind of excited about that too. That's cool. So I know you're in Louisiana. I live in Dallas. I'm from Louisiana.
you're from Louisiana? Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, I got to represent Louisiana because Kevin will try to make this thing a Dallas podcast. You know how that goes.
Yeah, my aunt and uncle live in the suburbs of New Orleans. I go out and visit them quite a bit. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to make sure I rub that into Kevin's face.
Yeah, they did. They used to live in Shreveport. And then
that's where I'm from.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm from Shreveport, man. I was born and raised in Shreveport.
Yeah, they were in Shreveport and Bossier City for a long time. And then now they're in, like I said, just outside New Orleans. So, yeah, I spent quite a bit of time there. And my aunt taught at, I think it's Airline High School in Shreveport.
Yes. Well, Airline is in Bossier, but it's in the area, though.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
You play fantasy football?
I used to. I'm not this year. Yeah,
I know you busy, aren't you?
Yeah. Plus, I don't know. I'm a little bit obsessive, so if I had a fantasy team, I'd be probably putting way too much time into it.
It's easy to do. My wife tells me that I am that I got a not a problem, but she was like, it's a psychological thing that, we can't compete in certain areas. So I don't know. She tried to break me all down, right? Because I love fantasy, man. But I'm like you. I don't want to say I'm obsessive, but I mean, I spend a lot of time on it. So, but I also spend a lot of time on the show. So,
yeah.
I just like to put my heart into things. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Maybe that's to a fault, right?
Yeah, sometimes maybe.
All right. My bad.
Kevin,
man.
he was telling a wonderful story. No, I told him you lost internet. It happens, bro. All right, man. So try to get that story right. If you could continue that train of thought. So you drove all the way up there, and boom, he thought you was crazy, but
yeah. So I show up at Texas Tech, and again, he thinks maybe I'm just insane because I drove 20 plus hours. So, but he was like, "I'll talk to you for 30, 40 minutes." Just, I think he wanted to put a time limit on, just in case I was crazy. He could just get me out of there. But so I sat down and I had studied his stuff. Like I said, I don't know, I can be obsessive about things. So I had watched so much film of what he did that I was just hitting him with questions. And he loves basketball too and hit the X's and O's. So he was like, wow, this guy actually understands what he's talking about. So instead of talking 30 minutes, we talked like over 3 hours because he was having fun with it. And I was even, again, at the time, I was a little more of an offensive guy. So I was drawing up stuff I do. Like, how would you defend this? And he's like, oh, that's pretty good. He's like, well, this is probably what I would do. And we were just going back and forth. So it was a really great conversation. So anyway, since then, he's become the head coach at Texas Tech. He's a great person. And I think the smartest defensive coach in the world, in my opinion. So I would put him on my coaching staff. Another person who mentored me, who I never met in person, but I've talked to him several times. It's kind of an unknown name, but I think he's one of the most influential coaches that people don't know that well. His name's Vance Wahlberg, and he invented dribble drive offense, which I think, especially in the NBA, if you understand Vance Wahlberg's dribble drive system, like what that actually is, you see that almost every NBA team, most of them, are using those principles in what they do today. So anyway, his quick story was he was a high school coach in California, kind of an unknown, and he was very innovative. He would just try random things. And every year he was a PE teacher and a high school coach. So every year he would take a week of his vacation time and find a college coach who would have him, and he would just spend a week going to their practices and just being around them to learn. So like one year he went to Indiana back when Bob Knight was there. Just every year he would go to somebody. So 2000, I think it was 7 or 8, he went to Memphis back when John Calipari was at Memphis. And so in the meantime, he had been developing this dribble drive offense at his high school. So he sits there and he watches, Memphis for a week. Calipari has him. And the very last day, Calipari's like, hey, man, like you've seen everything we do. You know everything. And I don't really have any more to tell you, but hey, let's go to dinner. I'll take you out to dinner your last night here because you spent a week with us. And as they're sitting there, Calipari's like, I've told you everything. Why don't you tell me something that you do? And Vance Wahlberg is like, well, I do this offensive thing. It's kind of off the wall. And he explained the dribble drive offense. And John Calipari heard it, and he was like, we're going to do that this year. He was so impressed by this idea. That happened to be Derrick Rose's freshman year in college.
Wow.
So Jacques
Wow.
he's like, we're going to do this thing this high school coach is doing that no one knows about. And we have Derrick Rose, who's the perfect person for this style.
I mean, built for it.
Yeah. And totally built for it. Like the ideal, like the prototypical dribble drive guy. And it was just chance, it's like this high school coach is just like, here's this thing we do. And Calipari was smart enough to be like, I'm stealing that from you. So that was the year Memphis went like 38-1. And they almost won the national championship. They lost.
But they couldn't shoot. They couldn't shoot free throws. They can't shoot.
They lost in the last game, didn't it?
Yeah, the championship game. That's when Mario Thomas hit that three.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So anyway, that would be my second pick. So I got the defense with Mark Adams, the offense with Vance Wahlberg, and Vance Wahlberg did go on to be a college coach, and then he got hired. He was the assistant for the Sacramento Kings and the Utah Jazz. And then he went back to the original high school he started at, and he's the coach there again today. So
give us one more. Give us one more.
Yeah. Nolan Richardson, 40 minutes of hell.
Hey, 40 minutes of hell, baby. Now you kind of peeking behind the curtain right there, because you told us backstage that you kind of grew up an Arkansas guy, right?
Yeah, so I was born in Fayetteville, and so I'm a diehard Razorback. I went to the University of Arkansas, but as a kid, Nolan Richardson was still a coach, and every year I went to Nolan Richardson basketball camp. It was an all-week camp. Yeah, 8 in the morning to 8 at night, and he was there for a lot of it, and he's a really good dude, and also kind of innovative coach, like pressing. Like 40 minutes of hell is like, a lot of times they would press the entire game and just be right up in you, super gritty teams. So he's also one of my all-time great coaches. I love Nolan Richardson, so he's got to be on there too.
I love it. I love it.
B. Jones. I mean, he's in the family, so just go ahead and take it away.
And I tell you what, Kevin, that was great, great segue, brother. Because now we've already kind of unpacked some stuff about you, right? We already kind of know where you're from. So let's jump right into the meat and potatoes of this thing, man. You sound like an innovative basketball guy yourself. What made you fall in love with the game? What about basketball called you to it, Coach Rob?
So my family is really into sports. My dad was a basketball player. It's funny. Last year, I think it was, I found, it make me sound old, but these old VHS tapes, like off a camcorder, like family home movies. And my parents had me when they were really young. They were like about 18 years old. But there's this video of that. This is again, I was born in Arkansas, ended up moving to Memphis, but this is back when I was still only like 3 or 4 years old in Arkansas. My grandparents lived way out in the country, and it's just like a slab of pavement and a basketball hoop. And I'm like 4 years old, and my dad's probably, again, maybe like 21 at the time or something. And he's shooting baskets, and I'm rebounding and kicking it out to him at 4 years old. And it's like funny too. Like there's a couple players where I'm like, come to the rim. And I do like a over the back, like over the head, like no look pass to him and stuff like that. So I think just starting when I was a young kid, like my dad and my uncle, they're both just big sports guys. My dad had played, like I said, so I was just in it. Then, like I said, with Arkansas, when I was very young, they won the national championship, 94. That's Nolan Richardson's national championship
Scotty
team.
Thurman.
Yeah.
Oliver Miller.
Big Nasty. Yeah. All
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah.
So that, I think, kind of cemented it. And then as far as, so I played through high school, and I went to the University of Arkansas. I was a journalist, and I kind of kept my sports life going. And then I coached a little bit because I have siblings who are about 10 years younger than me. And I coached a little bit, and I kind of liked it. But I was like, I'm going to do something else. Like my original plan actually was I wanted to be a writer for I wanted to write books and film and TV. My English grades have always been good. So I'm like, I'm going to be an English major. That was what I majored in. I'm like, I'm going to do something with writing. And I had done some journalism as well. But basically what had happened was at a certain point, I kind of got burned out on the journalism thing. I moved down to Florida. My family had moved down there. And I started coaching my siblings again. And they were getting a little older. They were like middle school age at this point. And it kind of just hit me where I'm like, this is what I'm meant to do. Because as I was coaching, not just my siblings, but I started coaching some of their teams. Kids just responded to me and they loved it. And I'm like, wow, I'm like making an impact. And, the kids are happy and their families are proud of them. And I'm like, I think that was the main thing, is seeing kids be proud of themselves and their families be proud of them. I was like, there's just, I don't know. I feel like I have a greater purpose now. So that's really what kind of set me off on the journey.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Now so we kind of gave the segue. You're at a university that we've seen on LastChanceU. We've also had the privilege of watching the Coast LastChanceU. I mean, how close to life is the community college experience based on what we've seen on Netflix's documentary?
Some things are pretty close. Some things are different. I think, they really highlight the more dramatic parts. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like when people talk about social media. Like, social media is highlights. It's not day-to-day.
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah.
A TV show is kind of the same thing. It's like, over the course of a year, let's pick these really huge, dramatic things that happen. Sometimes bad. So you kind of get the impression, same way social media. You watch social media, you're like, wow, this person's life's amazing. They're on a vacation every single day. Well, same thing with the show. It's like, these kids come from all different types of backgrounds. Sometimes good things happen, sometimes bad things happen, but that's just regular life. So it gets a little dramatized, but a lot of these junior colleges are in really small towns, which is kind of cool. Like where I'm at now, it's Independence, Kansas, which is like 10,000 people. But we have kids from all over the United States, all over the world. Like we've had quite a bit on my team, a lot of international students. So we've had kids from like Brazil, Germany, Chile, Spain, France, Africa, like Mozambique in Africa, like just all over the world. And we're all from these different backgrounds here in this little town in Kansas. It's a really unique experience. And I think a lot of JUCOs are like that.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So now that we everybody got this negative stigmatism, right, of what it's like, but you kind of presented to us this unique thing. So what would it, if a kid is watching this show right now, they like the innovation of Coach Rob, they like the way you think, they like the way you talk. What kind of experience do you think would it be to come and work under you and in your program? What is Independence trying to get accomplished right now, other than winning championships?
We want to get kids to their dreams. Like on the show, they call Independence, other than LastChanceU, they call it DreamU. And that was kind of a term that got coined, like, come here and chase your dreams. And I think that's for players and coaches. It's like, again, like I said, we're all from different backgrounds, but we're all here in this little town chasing our dreams. So kind of the pitch I give to kids is, honestly, before that show, I was ignorant of what junior college was. And a lot of people are, so I don't blame them because I was too. So when I say, hey, the school, that they don't know us already, they're like, well, don't only like bad students go to junior college or don't whatever. But what I usually tell them is junior college is a great place to come if you've kind of been overlooked or you're under the radar and you have big dreams, but maybe you don't get a D1 offer straight out of high school for whatever reason. It's not because you're a bad student or you're a bad kid. It's just you were from a small town or you were on a team with another really big-time player and you just didn't get the attention maybe you deserved. Come out here, junior college is a 1 or 2 year experience. Some kids are just here for a year and they move on, but you can do up to 2. And we want you to chase your dreams. So you come here, you get more exposure, you get more development from me and our coaching staff, and we try to position you to get to your dream school after you've been with us. So, yeah, that's what the experience is like. And it's a lot of fun because this is a very sports-oriented campus. Like I said, we have the football team, but we have football, basketball, volleyball. It's just a sports school, really. So we all support each other, all love each other, and come after each other's games. So it's a lot of fun.
Now you talked about VHS, so you kind of aged yourself a little bit, right? You kind of old school like me and my brother KT. Okay, right. So let me ask you this. Times are changing, and going back to that show, I think about sometimes, and not just Independence. It was even with Coach John, even with the guy out of Mississippi. I said, man, they talking to these kids kind of hard. You know what I mean? They got a little too rough on these kids. But now, even since that show's been aired, we went through mental health issues. We went through Black Lives Matter. A lot has changed in the last 3 years over the sports landscape on how we communicate. How do you think that has impacted your coaching? And what are your thoughts on how to handle an 18, 19, 20-year-old young man or woman in order to maximize their performance?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in you got to hold them accountable, but you also have to really show them that you love them and not just pretend that you love them. Like, you should really love them and care about them as human beings. Like, I always say this about coaching because people sometimes will hit me up on Twitter and say, like, man, I really love basketball. Like, I think I want to be a coach. And I usually respond to them. I say, loving basketball is probably like the least important part. You better like really love human beings if you want to be a coach. Because I think that's what it has to all start with. Like I said, what inspired me, I tried coaching, and it wasn't like, man, I just love basketball so much. It was like, I love helping these people so much. I love seeing them be proud of themselves and their families being proud. So I think that's really got to be the thing that you like more than just the basketball or the sports side of it. So I recruit kids, and I get to know them. I get to know their background, their family situation, and I started to develop like a real relationship with them where I care about them and I want to see them reach their dreams and all that stuff. So they're almost like my kids or my little brother, my little sister, who I really want to see good for them. So same way I would do with my own siblings, I hold them accountable, and I definitely will call them out like, hey, you're not doing the right thing. I don't go over the top like they do in some of those shows. I'm not like cursing them out or anything. But yeah, I do. Again, I don't know. My whole thing is like I'm super authentic. So like I'm not playing games or trying to say this to get a reaction out of you. I'm just going to tell you the truth all the time. And sometimes you may not want to hear it, but it's the truth. And then when you do good stuff, I'm also going to be right there cheering you on and telling you how great that was and how much I believe in you. So I think it's just finding that balance. And yeah, that's kind of how I do it.
Kevin, that sounds like what a coach supposed to be, ain't it? Ain't that what the,
yeah, man,
ain't that what the mission should
right
be?
there. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, real quick before we get, is that Reggie Miller on your shirt?
Yeah, this is, you can see it. This is a Reggie
He
Miller
choking
shirt.
out New York. Oh my. That's an iconic moment right there. So that's a dope T-shirt. That's kids. If you don't know what that T-shirt means, Google Reggie Miller versus New York. Okay, all right, yeah. New York Knicks. I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy the clip.
I was gonna say real quick, it's funny because over the years of being a coach, again, it makes me feel old because like sometimes I'll be talking to my players, and this is ever since I started. I'll be like, yeah, like Reggie Miller, yeah, like Patrick Ewing, and they'll be like, who are you talking about? and then sometimes I'll even use like pop culture references. So I remember this was with my high school team back when I was coaching high school. I was like, I brought up some I think it was like this is like 6 years ago. I was like Will Smith. I was like, y'all know who Will Smith is? And they're like, of course we know who Will Smith is. You think we're idiots? I was like, you didn't know the other 10 people I just brought up, so how would I don't know who you know.
Right. They probably thought it was an act. Don't even know summertime. Okay,
no doubt.
That's crazy.
That's the anthem.
All right, Coach. Well, you seem like you are not afraid of a little family confrontation. So, Coach, welcome to the championship rounds. This is the part of the show where Kevin and I, we go head to head, and you are now officially calling all the shots. All right. Have you ever played Would You Rather before?
Nope.
All right, well, this is the Sports Life Talks version of Would You Rather. And the rules are very simple, Coach. I'm going to present an option. Kev will present an option. You select one of those options. That host gains a point. The first host to get 2 points or the best out of 3 will win this episode's game of championship rounds. And I don't know why, Kevin. I feel like I finished on top last game.
Unfortunately, you did, man. So go ahead and start.
Yep, I feel like I'm the defending champion.
Oh, yes, I just said you were. Go ahead.
I don't know why. I think if I cut myself open championships,
well, if you stop talking, we can get into it, and maybe I can win this.
I'm just saying. I just want to enjoy being a champion. All right.
Are you done?
Coach, you know what it's like to be a champion. Your program was what, 24/7 last year? Y'all used to winning the Jayhawk conference. Y'all used to being champions. Coach, tell Kevin real quickly what it's like to be a champion.
Like I said, I've watched a bunch of y'all shows. This is the hardest segment. This is the one I was actually afraid of because y'all both give such difficult options and I can never figure it out. So this may be a struggle, but I'll do my best.
All right, well, I'm going to go first, and I'm going to put you in the pressure cooker off top already. Coach Rob Beckmann. Now, would you rather, since you started BA Sports, you know all about this, give an award named after you year after year to a hardworking coach who's under the radar, trying to get the money they need to become a part of a program. All right, so you go basically an award given out to an up-and-coming coach, or
would you rather have a shoe made by Nike named after you and the proceeds go to multiple scholarships in your name?
Gosh. I think I'm going to go with the first one with the coach, just because I really mentor a lot of young coaches. And ultimately, again, my goal is that they go on, mentor a bunch of players, and it just spreads and spreads. So again, both of those options are amazing, but I have to go with that one.
We getting grimy, Coach. That's what I'm talking about. Here we go. All right, Coach, let's think hard about this one. Here we go. Would you rather host a YouTube basketball pickup series where you get the opportunity to go into the gym with professional athletes and interview them while playing horse or free throws one-on-one? You know what? I'm going to change it up a little bit, Kevin. You get to interview coaches from all across the professional and college coaches in gyms, shooting one-on-one and recording this on YouTube and giving it back to the community.
So I didn't know that we could call audibles. Okay, so or would you rather host your own cooking show where you're not doing the cooking, Coach, where you interview athletes and celebrities as they take you to their favorite places to eat in their hometowns?
Yes, again, really, really tough, but I am a big food guy. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the second one.
All right. I appreciate that, Coach. I thought you were leaning towards that interviewing coaches since he wants
I know you want to interview coaches. I know you want to be in the same gym with Calipari so y'all can talk about the dribble drive offense. No, all right. Last round.
All right. Would you rather fast forward 15 years and now you're an established head coach, but now you have your own coaching tree full of head coaches throughout college, or
would you rather go back in time knowing what you know now, but you chance to start your career, and you get to start your career sooner, but you also get to start it at the school of your choice?
Gosh, that's also really hard because I don't know. I hate the idea of fast forwarding and missing all that time. But I guess I'll just say one thing about that is I started coaching kind of late. And I ended up, what you said about starting at the school of your choice, I thought about that is when I was at University of Arkansas, I was a journalist. And sometimes I thought maybe I should have been like a manager for like the men's or women's basketball team. It would have got me in there earlier. But I ended up going a much more difficult route. And I coached rec league in middle school and high school and went through that whole experience. And it was kind of an invaluable experience, which I think is better than maybe just being like a GA or a manager straight from the top. So I think I got to go with the first one of having, fast forwarding and having a whole coaching tree and all that stuff.
Oh my gosh, Coach.
I think that was an upset. Coach, there's no way. I'm going to let you go back. You can still take all that invaluable information.
Hey, because this is not your time to talk. This is my time to talk. Coach, thank you so much for helping me get my baby back. I think you had won, 2 or 3 B. Jones in a row?
I was hot as fish grease.
Well, now you're not. So be quiet. Coach, thank you so much, man. I couldn't have done this without you.
I can't wait till we go off. I can't wait till we go off air so we can talk to Coach. Coach Beckmann.
The champ is here. The champ is here.
We was here, Coach Beckmann. Oh. You don't even look right on you. You don't even look right on you.
Oh, yes, you do. Don't listen to Uncle B. Don't listen to him.
I hope I stretched it out. It don't fit. All right, Coach. All right, Coach Beckmann. Well, the title of the show is You Got Next, so you already know what time it is. You got to tell everybody now who's following you at Coach_Beckmann, everybody who's locked in with you. We rooting for Indy now. You got to tell us what the future holds for you, short term and long term. What can we expect now that we are on the Coach Rob train?
Yeah, so right now I'm about to enter my 3rd year here at Indy. We've won championships our first 2 years, so I'm trying to win 3 in a row. And we're starting here in, I think, less than 10 days. We got our first game. So that's the immediate plan, is to win another championship. And in the future, I would like to have my own program and then maybe one day work at the D1 level. I think that's, if you're just asked what's your biggest dream, it'd be to be at the D1 level and maybe eventually be a D1 head coach as well. So every year, I kind of think wherever God puts me, give my all to those group of kids and make that as if it's the biggest thing, as if it's the NBA or WNBA. I treat every team like that. But yeah, in the future, I hope to continue moving up and run my own program.
All right. So do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah. Shout outs to, like I said, my current team, also my entire family. I won't name them all. And then in my previous school, SCF, I coached the men's team at SCF as same position, associate head coach. They're in Bradenton, Florida. So I also wish them well this year. And hope they have a great season.
All right, so this is a part of the show where you get a chance to call the person that you think should have next. Tell them, hey, I got a chance to rock with B. Jones and KT. I helped him get a win, by the way. I told him my story. I want you to do the same thing. With that said, Coach, who are you giving your game ball to?
I'd like to nominate the head coach of that team. So his name's Tom Parks. He's the head coach at State College of Florida for the men's team. He's the one that gave me the opportunity to coach college basketball. So I've been a high school AAU coach, and he took a chance on me because, and also I've been coaching women too. So, how many times is a college head coach of a men's team going to be like, actually take the time to look at a women's high school coach and be like, you know what? Something special about this guy. Let me bring him with me and hire me. So he's a really, really good dude. He's also very active on social media. So I think he would love to do this show. But yeah, he gave me a chance when probably not a lot of people would. So I think you definitely should try to get him on the show.
All right. Well, Coach, before I do this, I got to ask you one small favor. We had to move really quickly because we had so much fun in the initiation. We didn't get to really unpack a lot of your journey because I think you hit it on it at the end. You say, man, I took an unconventional route, and I want to kind of break that down. I want to talk to some of these younger coaches or people who are, who are moving into the next level. But I also don't want this show to be an hour long, right? So, Coach, can we get you to come back? I don't know, maybe after the season. Can we get you to come back and talk to us and sit down with us again? All right, perfect. Well, Coach Rob Beckmann, hey, the other coach, we gonna reach out to you. We can't wait to get you to become a part of the family. But Coach Beckmann, you are part of the family. I love, like I said, you're super innovative. I love your progressive mindset. I love your energy. I can't wait to watch Indy play this year because I know big things are coming and the sky's the limit, sir. You got two new brothers who will rock with you. We day ones. I promise you, we're going to be locked in watching everything you do. If you need something, let us know. Because Coach Rob Beckmann, you got next. Oh, my God, it's official. Man, these shows are fun, Kevin. Whoever thought we'd be talking about white stripes and some of these stories were crazy. I got to go back and watch this one again, just as a fan of the show, right? Because this was, I promise you, some of these stories was absolutely crazy. 20 hours. Oh, my goodness. But listen, we want to thank y'all again for checking us out, being a part of the show, being a part of the program, being a part of the movement. Because this thing is bigger than just me and Kev. This thing is huge, and we got to start figuring out a way to get some exposure to some of these amazing human beings who are doing phenomenal things, and we're counting on you. Hey, listen, I know you liked it earlier. I know you subscribed. If you didn't, please take that opportunity to do so now. But we got to ask one other small favor as we close this thing out. Share. Be a giver. Send this show to 2 or 3 people. You never know who will get the opportunity to see this and learn something from it. And we count on you to help us to do that. And listen, for that, go to our IG page at SportsLifeTalk, tag in 5 friends, and we're going to pay you back by sending you a SportsLifeTalk t-shirt. We appreciate all the love and support, and we appreciate you guys helping us to continue to grow. Like I said, we couldn't do it without you, and we do it for you. And lastly, if you want to hang out with Kevin and I in a little bit more of an intimate type of setting, right? We talk sports, we talk television, pop culture, sneakers, the whole 9. It is not just a sports show. I promise you, ladies, come hang out with us. We got 2 other ladies on the show. We go live Wednesday nights at 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. We stream live on YouTube. So if you did smash that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and then we'll remind you. And it's interactive. So the family members that's in the comments, we actually get to read those on live on air, and we get to talk back and forth with you guys. I don't know, but Kevin, you're grinning like the cat that just ate the canary, like you stole something from me. I'm gonna get it back.
My game face is on now.
Watch the next show. All of y'all who are plugged in now, watch the next show. I'm gonna get the belt back. It's coming back. Don't worry, all the MOS. All my MOS people out there, we're going to get it back. The Mouth of the South will show up, all right? Kevin, I'm going to let you close this thing out, though. Great work, sir.
Coach, thank you again for rocking with us, man, and just being a fan of the show before we even got you on. So now, like he said, you got 2 brothers down here. I wish there was a way we can catch a game, B. Jones.
I would do Kansas ain't that far, Kevin. If he drove 20 hours, we could drove 10.
Yeah, I was going to say, drive out here, fly out here. You can stay at my house. Come anytime.
Bro, we on our way.
Sounds like a plan. But thank you so much, Coach, for rocking with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Thanks for having me on. Like I said, I love your show, so keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, Coach, Boom, 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 boom. Sports Life Talk Nation, we love y'all. Stay safe, be blessed, respect each other, and love one another because together we are better. And keep dreaming big because you never know. Your story may be the next one featured on Sports Life Talks. You got next. Yeet.